So we are looking at the second part of the Further Maths WAEC 2026. I'm going to look at question 8. We've done the first part, so you can go to our YouTube channel to watch to see where you made mistake and adjust them for future exams in NECO if you register in NECO's exam. So let's see a NECO's exam for post-UME, including those who want to do A-level. So you can, these are the suitable questions for you. So let's see what question 8 says. It says a body of mass 12 kg rests on a rough plane inclined at an angle of 30 degrees to the horizontal. So the coefficient of friction between the body and the plane is 2/3. A force of magnitude P Newton out on the body along the plane, along the inclined plane. Find the value of P if the body is at the point of moving downward. So let's draw the first diagram for the inclined plane. We know that weight is mg, which is mass times gravity. That's the answer they gave us this g as 10 to calculate the weight of mass 12 kg. So my weight is now 12 times 10. That will give us 120 Newton as the weight. So instead of saying 12 kilograms, we now have the weight of 120 resting on the body. So let's draw the inclined plane. If this is the horizontal, the plane now is inclined. So let me call the plane, let's call the plane AB. Inclined at an angle of 30 degrees with the horizontal, which is my x. So I can also create y here. This is now my y. So the plane is, the body is down here of 12 kilogram. So it will produce a weight calculated earlier of 120 Newton. So I'm to resolve this body now into the vertical and horizontal axis. I have to resolve this body now into the vertical and horizontal. So here, this angle here is also 30. This 30 is inclined to the vertical axis now, which is the y. So if I resolve, I'm going to have 120 cos 30 degrees. If I resolve to the horizontal, I'm going to have 120 sine 30 degrees. Okay, so this is our question A. So it says to find the force P when the body is moving downward. So the force, the P now is moving this way. And one of the laws of friction states that frictional force opposes the direction of motion. So if the body is moving downward in this direction, frictional force is going to oppose it. Frictional force F now is going to oppose it, that direction. So what we have here now is a body in static equilibrium. Body in static equilibrium. So there are conditions for that. One of the conditions is that summation f of x is equals to 0. So let's look at the body and see those acting horizontally. What are those acting horizontally? We have force P is acting horizontally. 120 sine 30 is acting horizontally, and P is acting horizontally. So according to sign convention, those acting rightward are positive, those acting leftward are negative. While those acting upward under the y are positive, those acting downward are negative. So with that, now let's consider the first condition, summation f of x equals to 0. So f is positive, 120 sine 30 is negative, and p is negative. So let's see that. So f is positive, minus 120 sine 30 degrees minus p is equals to 0. So since I'm looking for p, I will make p the subject formula. My p will become, carry it over to this side. My p will become f minus 120 sine 30 degrees. It can be written as f minus 60 Newton. So 120 sine 30, that will give us 60. So I can say P is now F minus 60 Newton. Let's take that as equation 1. So we have the second condition that says summation f of y this time is equals to 0. So let's check who are those acting vertically. So here will be our normal reaction arrow. So the normal reaction is upward, which is fall under the positive axis, while the 120 cos 30 is negative. So I'm going to have r minus 120 cos 30 degrees is equals to 0. So my arrow is now what? 0 plus 120 cos 30 degrees, which is 120 cos 30 degrees. So if you apply your calculator in this regard, 120 cos 30, that will give us 103.92 Newton. So the law of friction says frictional force is proportional to normal reaction. So if I want to remove my standard proportionality, F becomes mu r, where mu is the coefficient of friction. So from the question, coefficient of friction is given to us as look at here is 2/3. So let's fix it. That's our coefficient of friction. So my frictional force is simply 2/3 times my normal reaction 103.92. What are we having? Times 2 divided by 3, that will give us 69.28 Newton. So let's substitute the frictional force now into equation 1 to find the force P. So let me make reference to it. From 1, my P now is F minus 60, which is 69.28 minus 60. The force P, when it's acted downward now, is simply 9.28 Newton. This is not the force when acting downward. So that's question A. So let's see what question B says. Say find the force P when the body is at the point of moving up the plane. This time it's moving up the plane, unlike the first one that is moving down. It's moving down. The second condition is that it's moving up the plane. It's moving up the plane. Let's see that. So when the body is moving up the plane, I'm going to have, I need to redraw the diagram to illustrate it. This is now the body of 12 kilogram. So I'm going to have our weight as 120 Newton. Frictional force, normal reaction will oppose it. So here is our y, here is our x. It's also inclined at 30 degrees. So I can now resolve this body now. Here is also my 30. So if I resolve to the vertical, that will give me 120 cos 30 degrees. So with the resolution of forces in one of our videos, you can check why it is 120 cos 30. Then if I resolve to the horizontal, I'm going to have 120 sine 30. But this time, say the body is moving up, which is my P is going to this side now. So if it's moving up, what will happen to frictional force? Frictional force will oppose that direction. That is one of the laws of friction. It will oppose that direction. So from the information now, it's just the opposite of the first case. That means instead of having F minus 60, you are going to have F plus 60 this time. So let's also go into those broader resolutions. So my F this time will be, so my P will be F plus 60. Our F remain as, from the first case, 69.28 Newton. So if you solve for S, it also gives 69.28 using this condition also. So my P will just be 69.28 plus 60 degrees. Plus 60, I mean. So P is now 129.92 0.28 Newton. That's not the second case, and this is the answer for it. So if you want to know how to resolve forces, we've done it in multiple videos in our channel STEMupAfrica. You can go there and watch and see why they are 120 sin 30 and 120 cos 30. So that would be a long way to help you to understand the concepts of force resolution. So let's look at question 9. Let's look at question 9. Question 9, let's see what it says. It says a committee of 6 people, take note of that. Total committee comprises of 6 people to be choosing from. We need 6 people to be choosing from 7 midfielders, 5 attackers, and 8 referees. So if each discipline must be represented, that is to say, a midfielder must be represented, an attacker must be represented, and a referee must be represented. So how do you choose them from a committee of 6? So determine the number of ways of selecting the committee to include exactly 1 attacker and 1 midfielder. So please take note. Remember, I was saying in our first video, selection means combination. So this question is all about combination. So let's take note of the numbers of midfielders, the number of attacker, and the number of referee. Midfielder 7, attacker 5, referee 8. So I'm going to have question number 9 now. The midfielder, let's take it as 7. Attacker, let's take it as 9. And the referee, let's take it as what? Okay, attacker is 5. Attacker is 5. Referee is 8. Then committee of how many persons? Committee of 6. Committee of 6. So okay, that's the maximum people we can take from 7 midfielder, 5 attacker, and 8 referee. So question A, exactly 1 attacker and 1 midfielder. Question A, 1 attacker, 1 attacker. Question A says attacker now, it must be 1, comma. What about midfielder? 1. Midfielder is 1. So if I take 1 attacker and 1 midfielder, how many persons remaining now? Is 4. We are going to have 6 minus 2 from the selected people is 4. So that 4 persons must not be our referee. These 4 persons remaining now should be the referee. That should be the 4 persons remaining. So we're going to have 5 combination 1 times, the midfielder is also 1, 7 combination 1 times, referee now, which is 8 combination 4. So we know what's combination. N combination R will give us n factorial over n minus r factorial. That's combination. So if you simplify that with 5 combination 1, the answer should be 5. If you simplify 7 combination 1, the answer should be 7. Then if you simplify 8 combination 4, 8 combination 4, the answer should be 70. So we're going to have question A, 5 times 7 times 70. So what are we having? So you multiply 5 times 7 times 70, that will give us 35 times 70, which is 2450 ways. You can do this selection in 2450 ways. That's the number of times we can do this selection. So let's look at question B, part of it. Question B says exactly 2 referee. Exactly 2 referee from a committee of 6. we need exactly 2 referees. So how do we combine this? How do we combine this? We need exactly 2 referees. So 2 referee, number of referee we need now is exactly 2. So don't forget, we need a committee of 6. So if we take 2 referee, exactly 2 referee, the remaining 4 will be distributed among midfielder and attacker. So let's go with the referee. So I'm going to have 8 combination 2. This is exactly the referee times. So the remaining 4, how do we share it among midfielder and attacker? So let me say I'm selecting one, let's say for instance, we are selecting one midfielder. So I'm having 7 combination 1. That means the remaining 3 persons should be our attacker. That is 5 combination 2, 3. This can be one way of doing so. Or it could also be 8 combination 2 times. So I selected one attacker. I selected one midfielder at first. So what if I select 2 midfielder this time, 7 combination 2? That means the remaining 2 persons should be for the attacker, 5 combination 2, to make it the 6. Or it could be the way that I could select 8 combination 2 times. I'm now selecting 3 midfielder this time, 7 combination 3 times 5 combination 1. So these are the possible ways the selection can be made. So what is, if I simplify, 8 combination 2, that is 28, times 7 combination 1 is 7, 5 combination 3 is 10, plus, or I can have 8 combination 2 again, 28, times 7 combination 2, that is 21, times 5 combination 3, 2 is 10. Or I'm having 28 again, times, then 7 combination 3, that is 35, times 5 combination 1, that is 5. So if I multiply, what are we having? 28 times 7 times 10, that will give us 28 times 7 times 10, I'm going to have 1960. Then if I multiply 21 times 10 times 28, that will give us 5880, plus then 35 times 5 times 28, that will give us 4900. If I add up, I'm going to have 12,740 ways to do this selection. 4,740 ways. So if you are watching, let's go to question 3. I would like you to do your best, solve question 3 and put it on the comment section. Question 9C. Solve question 9C and put it on the comment section. I will be expecting your answer. Thank you. So let's go to question 10. Let's go to question 10A. Question 10A. We have 1/4 raised to the power n plus 1/3 plus 4 is equals to 5 into 1/2 n plus 1/3. We are asked to solve. To solve means to find the unknown. So mind me, our n is our question mark in this regard. I'm looking for n as to solve for. Sorry, for n. So since we have to, anytime you have an exponential equation like this, try to study it and find similarities. We have similarity here, n plus 1/3, n plus 1/3. So let's classify. Let's say n plus 1 over 3, let's call it p. So here I see n plus 1 over 3, I will put p. I want to try to make the equation less cumbersome. So I'm going to have 1 over 4 raised to the power p plus 4 is equals to 5, 1 over 2 raised to the power p. Yes. So we can express 4 as a factor of 2. I can write this as 1 over 2 raised to the power 2p plus 4 equals to 5, 1 over 2 raised to the power p. So this can also be expressed as 1 over 2 raised to the power p or raised to the power 2 plus 4 is equals to 5, 1 over 2 raised to the power p. So you can see we have 1 over 2 as a common factor also. So let's classify it. Let's say 1 over 2 raised to the power p, let's call it y. So here I see 1 over 2 raised to the power p, I will put y. So I'm going to have y squared plus 4 is equals to 5y. I can write this as y squared minus 5y plus 4 is equals to 0. So by merely looking at this expression, we know it is a quadratic equation. So we are going to think of two factors. If we multiply it, we have plus 4. If we add it, we have minus 5. The factor is minus 1 and minus 4. So that will give us y minus 1, y minus 4 is equals to 0. That means y minus 1 equals to 0, or y minus 4 is equals to 0. So my y equals to 1 or y equals to 4. But from the question, we are not looking for y, we are looking for m. So let's recall what we call as y. We called y as 1 over 2 raised to the power p. So I will say but 1 over 2 raised to the power p is equals to y. So for y equals to 1, which is the first value of y we got. So I can write this as 1 over 2 raised to the power p is equals to 1. It can also be written as 1 over 2 raised to the power 0. Therefore, our p is equals to 0. So let's try the other one. 1 over 2 raised to the power p is equals to y. This time around for y equals to 4. So I'm having 1 over 2 raised to the power p equals to 4. So if I apply the law of indices to the left hand side, that will give us 2 minus p is equals to 2 raised to the power 2. Therefore, our p is minus 2. Don't forget, we are not also looking for p. We also replace something as p, which is what? n plus 1 over 3 equals to p. So let's do that. But also, n plus 1 over 2 is equals to p. For p is equals to 0. So let's simplify that. And you can see p, I put 0. So I'm having n plus 1 over 2 is equals to 0. This one implies that n plus 1 equals to 2 bracket 0. Bracket means times, so 2 times 0 will give us 0. So we're having 0. So that implies my n is now 0 minus 1. n will give us minus 1. Also, for p equals to minus 2. The second value of p we got. So I'm going to have n plus 1 over 2 is equals to minus 2. I cross multiply, I'm having n plus 1 is equals to 2 brackets minus 2. So n plus 1 give us minus 4. So my m is now minus 4 minus 1. n will give us minus 5. So the value of n is minus 1 and minus 5. That is solution to question 10A. So let's look at 10B. 10B say given that p log s base 3 equals to log S in base 81. Find the value of P. So let's look at that. Question 10b. They gave us P log X in base 3 equals to log X in base 81. So this is a logarithm involving reduction of base. So the lowest base here is 3. So I'm going to reduce every other expression to base 3. So this will give us P log X in base 3. I can take the logarithm of the base, of the power of the base to 3. That means I will have log X in base 3 over log 81 in base 3. So 81 is a factor of 3 raised to the power 4. So I'm going to have P log X in base 3 is equals to log X in base 3 over log 3 raised to the power 4 in base 3. So I will bring the 4 down according to the law of logarithm. I'm having log X in base 3 over 4 log 3 in base 3. So when the log of the base and power are the same, the value is 1. So I'm going to have P log X in base 3 equals to log X in base 3 over 4. So from here I can cross multiply X over 1. I'm going to have 4P log X in base 3 equals to log X in base 3. So if I apply the law of logarithm to the left hand side, I can write this as log X raised to the power 4P in base 3 is equals to log X in base 3. So you agree with me, log X in base 3 can go with log 3 can cancel log 3. So what are we left with? We are left with X raised to the power 4P is equals to X. But this X itself is raised to the power 1. This is now in indices. That means that implies that 4P is equals to 1. Therefore, my P is 1 over 4. This is now the value of P, which is the solution to question 10b. So let's look at question 11. This one will be a very complicated question. Very complicated. Let's see how we can solve question 11. Say in a study to find the numbers of languages 50 people can speak, it was revealed that open bracket n squared plus 3 of them speak Yoruba, 5n minus 3 speak Hausa. So the number of people participated in the study was 50. That means that's our universal set. So our universal set is 50. So number that speak Yoruba is m squared plus 3. Let's continue with that. Then 5m minus 3 speak Hausa. So number that speak Hausa, 5m minus 3. Then and m plus 1 speak Igbo. So number that speak Igbo is 3m plus 1. Let's continue. It says 4 of them speak all 3 languages. That means number that speak Yoruba intersection Hausa intersection Igbo is 4. I speak all 3 languages. Then and 14 of them speak exactly 2 languages. That means number that speak Yoruba and Hausa, and the number that speak Yoruba and Igbo, and the number that speak Hausa and Igbo, the value is 14. The value is 14. Then those who speak Igbo and Yoruba are more less Okay, those who speak Igbo and Yoruba only, I have those who speak Hausa and Yoruba only. So let's know how many people speak Hausa and Yoruba only. We don't know it. So number that speak Hausa and Yoruba only, let's call it X. Then the number that speak Igbo and Yoruba is half those that speak Yoruba and Hausa. So the number that speak Igbo intersection Yoruba only is half those who speak Hausa and Yoruba only. So I'm having 1/2x. Then those who speak Hausa and Igbo are one less than those who speak Yoruba and Igbo, Yoruba and Hausa only. Those that speak Hausa and Igbo. So we're having number that speak Hausa. Let me take that again. Let's take that again. So the number, those who speak Hausa and Igbo are one less than those who speak Yoruba and Hausa. Okay? Number that speak Hausa and Igbo is one less than those who speak Hausa and Yoruba only. And those who speak Hausa and Yoruba only, let's select it. You can see the value is X. So we're having X minus 1. We're having X minus 1. And finally, 6 of them could not speak any of the languages. So we have number speak Yoruba intersection Hausa intersection Igbo complement, cannot speak any of them. We have 6. So that is what we have here. Now the question is asking us to illustrate the information provided in a Venn diagram. That is question 11A. Let's draw the Venn diagram to illustrate 11A. Question A now, 11. So let's say this is our Venn diagram. So my universal set is 50. So we have 3 sets. We have Yoruba, we have Hausa, and we have Igbos. So say 4 speak the 3 languages. So here become my 4. So Yoruba was m squared plus 3. Hausa is let's check this number, 5m minus 3. And Igbo is 3m plus 1. Okay, that is total. So a number that speak Hausa and Yoruba only is X. So here is Hausa and Yoruba only. So here there would be our X. Then number that speak Igbo and Yoruba only is 1/2s. Igbo and Yoruba here becomes 1/2x. And the number that speak Hausa and Igbo only, I put it only, is x minus 1. So here becomes x minus 1. Then we are told that 6 could not speak any of the languages. So here will become let's put the 6 here. So don't forget what we are told. We are told according to this expression, here, that those that speak exactly two languages is 14. Don't forget that. Those that speak exactly 2 languages is 14, which is x 1/2s and x minus 1. Those that speak exactly 2 languages. So we're going to have x plus 1/2x plus x minus 1 is equals to 14. So I'll collect like terms and add those I can add x to this x. That will give me 2x plus 1/2x is is equals to 14 plus 1. That will give us 15. Here's over 1. I take LCM. That will give us 5x over 2 equals to 15. So I can find my s from here. So I'm having 5x equals to 15 times of 2. That will give us 30. Therefore, s is now 30 over 5. S will give us 6. Okay? X is the number that speak Hausa and Yoruba only. So if S is 6, let's substitute it into the Venn diagram. If S is 6, that means here will be, the value here now is 6. The value here will be 3, which is 1 over 2 times 6. And the value here will be 5, which is 6 minus 1. So if that is known, how do we know those that speak Yoruba only? Yoruba only now will be m squared plus 3 minus 6 minus 4 minus 3. Here will now give us m squared minus 10. I speak Yoruba only. So how many speak Hausa only? We are going to have 5m minus 3 minus 6 minus 4 minus 5. That is 5m minus 18. It's now 5m minus 18. Then those who speak Igbo only, we are going to have, those who speak Igbo only, we are going to have 3m plus 1 minus 5 minus 4 minus 3. That will give us 3m minus 11. So it's not 3m minus 11. Yes, so this is not the complete Venn diagram according to question A. So let's go to question B. Question B says, find the Roman figure 1, the value of m. You should find the value of m now according to question B, Roman figure 1. That means the 50 here is equal to everything we have in the Venn diagram. So I'm going to have, let's see that, the 50 will be equal to m squared minus 10. We are going to start from there. Let's start from that point of the 50. So I'm going to have 50 now. B Roman figure 1. 50 is equals to m squared minus 10, m squared minus 10 plus, let's see for the other two cases, m squared minus 10 plus what? Plus 6, m squared plus 6 plus 5m minus 18 plus 4 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 3m minus 11. That's what we have. So meaning the 50 is equivalent to everything and have in the rectangle. So what are we having? If we add those, we can add. I'm having 50 now. It's equals to, let's add all the, I'm having m squared first. There's nothing to add it to, so I'll write my m squared. So what do we have here? I can add 5m to 3m. That will give me plus 8m. So we could add minus 10 plus 6 and 4 will give us 0. So I'm having minus 18 plus 3 minus 15, minus 15 plus 5 minus 10, minus 10 plus 6 minus 4, then minus 4 minus 11, that will give me minus 15. So we can transfer 50 to the other side. I'm going to have m squared plus 8m minus 15 minus 50 is equals to 0. That is now m squared plus 8m minus 65 is equals to 0. So what you have here is a quadratic equation. So you have to think of two numbers. If you multiply the two numbers, you have minus 65. If you add the two numbers, you have 8. That number could only be 13, positive 13, and minus 5. So I'm going to have m squared, m plus 13, and m minus 5 is equals to 0. So m plus 13 is equals to 0, or m minus 5 equals to 0. Therefore, my m will give me minus 13, or m will give us a positive 5. So m is not equal to minus 13. Therefore, our m now is just 5. We just have negative values in sets. So our m will become 5. That is building mathematical 1. Then 10, 11 building mathematical 2. Say find a number of people who speak exactly one language. Who speak exactly one language here? M squared minus 10, 5m minus 18, 3m minus 11. So in mathematical 2, we are going to have m squared minus 10 plus 3m minus 18 plus 5m minus 11. So don't forget what you have as m for m equals to 5. So I'm going to have 5 squared minus 10 plus 3 times 5. Is that minus? Okay, you're supposed to be 5m minus 18. I mean, here is 5m minus 18. Here is 3m. So here is 5. Here is 18 minus 18 plus 3 times 5 minus 11, which is 25 minus 10 plus 25 minus 18 plus 15 minus 4. So 25 minus 10, that is now 15, plus 18, 25 minus 18, that is 7, 15 minus 11, sorry, that is 4. So if we add what we're having 26 people speak exactly one language. So I knew this question would be tough because it's complicated. So this is solution to question 11. Let's go to our question 12. Yes, question 12 happens to be statistics. Question 12 happens to be statistics. Say the mark obtained by 40 student examination are as follows. So total number of students in the exam, that's our total frequency, is 40. So we're having 29, 52, 79, down to 71. Say construct a group frequency distribution table using class interval 20 to 29. So I will count number that falls between 20 to 29. Then I will now move from there to 30 to 39, 40 to 49, till I get to 70 to 79. Because the highest number here is 79, which is here. So let's do that. So I'm going to draw a frequency distribution table. Which is question 14, 12a. So let's do that. We're going to have 12a now. Let's do this. This is our class interval. Class interval. Let's say this one's our tally. Frequency. Class mark. Class mark also include class boundary. because we include class boundary. So we are starting from 20 to 29. So let's count numbers that fall between 20 to 29. So here is 1, 20 to 29. Let's look very well. 20 to 29. There is 2. There's 2. 20 to 29. Then think. Here's 3. Here's 3. 20 to 29. And here is 4. We have 4 numbers that fall between 20 to 29. So my tally will be 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4. Then we now have 30 to 39. So if you count that, you're going to have 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. That is 6. Take 40 to 49. If you count that, you have 8 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Then 50 to 59. If you count that, you have 11 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 11. 60 to 69. Count that, you're going to have 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. We now have 70 to 79. If you count that, you have 4 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4. So how do we get our class mark? We add the 2 class interval divided by 2, which is 29 plus 20. That will give us 49 divided by 2. I'm going to have 24.5. So the difference between these 2 classes is 10. So just keep adding 10. Here is now 34.5, 44.5, 54.5, 64.5, 74.5. Then how do we get our class boundary? You subtract 0.5 from the lower class and add 0.5 to the upper class. So I'm going to have 90.5 to 29.5, 29.5 to 39.5. Here we now 39.5 to 49.5, 49.5 to 59.5, 59.5 to 69.5, 69.5 to 79.5. So with this, you answer question A. So we should construct frequency distribution table. B, so using an assumed mean of 54.5, calculate the nearest whole number. The question 1, the mean mark. So they gave us an assumed mean, which is A, as 54.5. That's our assumed mean, 54.5. So how do we use that to construct our table for question? So let's do that. So 12B, Roman figure 1, we're going to have, I will now draw a table for X. I have a table for my frequency, and I have a table for deviation, which is X minus our assumed mean. We now have a table for the mean deviation, which is FD. So our X, which is our class mark, start from 24.5, 34.5, 44.5, 54.5, 64.5, 74.5. What are the frequencies? We know that already. 4, 6, 8, 11, 7, and 4. Then don't forget our A, I'm assuming 54.5. So to get the deviation now, I'm now having X, which is my 24.5, minus my assuming 54.5. That will give us minus 30. So the difference between the first and the second is 10. So So keep adding 10 to the minus 30, that will give us minus 20. Add another 10, minus 10, add 10, 0, 10, and 20. Then FD, frequency times deviation. So 4 times minus 30, it was minus 120. 60 times minus 20, minus 120. 8 times minus 10, minus 80. 11 times 0, 0. 7 times 10, 70. And 4 times 20 will give us 80. With this now, I know that my summation F, the value is 40. We are told from the question. Or you can say add up. You can add 4 to 6, 8, 11, 7, 4. You're going to have 20. Then my summation FD. Summation FD is what? Let's add the entire FD together. If I do that, I'm going to have minus 170. So our mean is equals to assuming plus summation FD over summation F. So let's fix in our value. So I'm going to have X bar now, which is our mean. My A is 54.5 plus minus 170 divided by 40. So X bar is now 54.5 minus 170 divided by 40 will give us 4.25. What happens if I subtract 54.5 minus 4.25? I'm going to have 50.25. To the nearest whole number now, our answer is 50. That is our mean. The mean is 50. Then we are also asked to find, let's check the next question. We are also trying to find the standard deviation of the distribution. That is B Roman got 2. So B Roman got 2, we need to find the standard deviation of the distribution. That means I will need D square here. I will need D square. So let's create a table for D square and FD square. So I just need my D and the F and D. So I'm going to do that. 12B, how much we got 2. I need a table for F and my D. I will need D square. I will need F D square. So my F is 4, 6, 8, 11, 7, and 4. My D's are minus 30, minus 20, minus 10, 0, 10, and 20. So let's square each of them. So minus 30 squared, that will give us 900. Then 4 times 900, that will give us 3,600. Minus 20 squared is 400. 6 times 400, that will give us 2,400. Then 10 squared is 100. 8 times 100, that will give us 800. 0 squared is 0. 11 times 0 is 0. 10 squared is 100. Times 7, that will give us 700. 20 squared again, 400. Times 4, that will give us 800. Okay, that will give us 1,600, not 800. 1,600. 4 times 4 is 16. So what is our summation FD square? So let's add all the FD square. 3,600 plus 2,400 plus 800 plus 700 plus 1,600. That will give us 9,100. So my standard deviation is equal to the square root of summation FD square over summation F, which is the square root of 9,100 divided by 40, which is square root of 227.5. What that gives to us, our XD, that will give us 15.08. To the nearest whole number, we're having a 15 as our standard deviation. Let's go for question 12. So we continue from question 12, 13 to 15 in our next video, further mathematics. Then we also treat the objective. For those who are preparing for other exams like post-UME, NECO, A-level, you can always click to our channel. You see valuable content that will be of help to you at STEMupAfrica. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video.